Hello and welcome back to Never Thought I'd Say This. I am Jodie Sweeten and I am joined by Celia Behar. How are you today, Celia?
I don't know. We just shouldn't ask me that for like another month, I think.
Okay.
How about that?
We'll just be like, Celia, I see you're here. And you're like, yes.
I think that's...
And that's about as good as it
And it's
gets.
going to be like, yes, in body only.
Okay.
Like, I don't know where... emotionally, I am not with it.
Well, you know what? But that's what we do. We fall apart and we show up for the Never Nation anyway.
That is correct.
Or for something.
For something. So I'm here. How's that? I'm here.
That, you know what? That's good enough
My
for me.
physical being is
That's
here.
good enough for me,
Great.
Celia.
Thank you.
Wow. You know what? Now it's weird because... Well, because it's us, but also because now that we're shooting the episode and releasing it a week later on YouTube, for those of you that don't know that are just listening to this podcast, just know that in a week you can check out our YouTube channel and the video from this will also be online in case you just can't get enough and you want to see us and see how we actually act in person.
We don't have on pants too, so that is, we can confirm it. Well, you actually don't have on pants. You have on shorts.
I have on shorts.
Right.
Thank you very
Those
much.
aren't pants.
Don't make it weird.
Oh.
We have a guest here today.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was saying is it's a little weird, and I'm going to intro our guest earlier than we usually do because those people that are watching this are like, who's that person in the middle? And it's also weird that we're doing a podcast basically around our guest.
I know.
So anyway, without further ado, I would love to introduce our guest for today, Nicole Alvarez. Yay!
Wait, is it weird that I was enjoying that I was just enjoying the energy coming at me from both sides? Like, you can sit here if you guys just want to banter.
Let me tell you, this is going to...
the best threesome I've ever been
It's
in.
going to be... like just a DP of energy right now. Let me tell you.
DP.
Okay.
Come on now.
It is. It's gonna be so much energy surrounding you in every
I can
way.
feel it. I'm like vibrating sinse we're using sexual
That's just
terms.
our anxiety.
Yeah.
That's my anxiety. And by the end of this thing, you'll be like, get me the fuck out of here. She's like going to go under the table and run away.
No, I have it too, so I think we'll work together.
Good.
Just
Fantastic.
Good.
Awesome.
And now our only job is to not talk over each other.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I'm going to try.
Yeah. Good luck.
Okay.
Yeah, so Nicole, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you have worked in radio and music, and you're kind of a badass rock and roll mom, which in the first 3 minutes of you sitting down, you were like, you walked in and said, oh, I'm the Hot Mess Express. And we were like, we just said that in the previous episode, so welcome. We'll take your ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I've worked in radio my entire life. It's all I've ever wanted to do, but I work at KROQ in LA, which is an iconic, legendary radio station. Yeah, that's broken all these incredible bands, everything from No Doubt to Coldplay, David Bowie. It's all been on KROQ. And somehow or another, I've been there for 2 decades, so 20 years. I grew up pretty much at KROQ. Somehow I didn't get fired when I got hired there. I was a party and it was really bad. And I've been there and just embedded in the alternative rock community in Los Angeles. So anywhere there's alternative rock or a concert or something badass happening, usually I wormed my way in.
Nice.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm a single mother who somehow or another is making it all work.
Well,
not well.
Yes.
Not well.
That's not true.
That's
You're
a lie.
making it work. You're
That's
making
a
it
lie.
work well. You're doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're here. Your kid is well cared for.
Yeah.
Like
She's alive.
CPS hasn't been called.
Not yet.
We're okay. We're involved. We're all good.
And we're single moms, so we get it.
It's
We get it. Tell us a little bit. What are your mom stats? How old is your daughter?
So I have to tell you first. So they told me that I can never get pregnant because of my age, and I have this thyroid situation. So they said you're not getting pregnant.
So does Celia.
So I froze eggs for a lot of money. Basically got no eggs, but had them anyways. And then went to Germany with 7 guys. The story's not going to go where you think it's going.
Reel it in. Go see your faces.
Oh, no. I was like, that's all right.
Okay.
I was like, which one wants to try?
No, all right.
Look,
I mean, our
20s can be wild.
It wasn't my 20s. It was my late 30s.
Well,
okay.
Late 30s.
Right, whatever.
Okay.
I'm down for wherever the story's
I
going to go.
had a boyfriend, but I went with my guy friends to Germany, and I was at Oktoberfest, and 3 days after drinking my weight in beer, I was like, my boobs are very big. I feel very nauseous. So I snuck to a pharmacy in Munich at a train station, and I took a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant out of nowhere. And I went home to my doctor, and I was like, listen, I think I'm pregnant, but I'm also still drunk. I don't
That's
know
right.
what to do. Is there a drunk baby inside of me? And I miraculously got pregnant.
How old were you?
I was 39, so I had her when I was 40, but it was a hard pregnancy. I almost lost her twice, and she held on really tight. I was very depressed when I found out that I was pregnant because I was in my life. I was like traveling, and I was, like selfish and all of those things. And I found out I was pregnant, and I got really bummed. I worked through that, obviously.
No, that's fair.
I think we should talk about that kind of stuff.
This is one of the reasons. One of the first episodes we did was talking, and it was like I never thought I'd be pregnant, and I was very much like you when I got pregnant. I was like living my life, party girl, whatever. And
having
I was like,
good old time.
And and Celia struggled with infertility, and she really wanted to have kids. So but having kids was like
depression and
so thank you for you fit right in here in the Never Nation talking about
all of the things. And I thought, my friends are going to go away. I wasn't thinking, and
some of them do,
but higher self should have been like, if they're your real friends, they'll stay. But I wasn't. Higher self wasn't
there yet.
Was not in charge. No, was not at the wheel. And so I went through the pregnancy, and at the 4-month mark, I finally accepted. Fine, this is what it is. Didn't get too attached. Long story short, I had her. She's the love of my life, and I truly believe that she found me in this life. Like, she was going to find me no matter what.
Right.
The next life, I'll find her. But she's 6. She's going to be 6 in 2 weeks. Her name is Evie.
Aww.
I named her after Eddie Vedder, who's my favorite singer. So I borrowed his initials, and she's an angel and an asshole. Like, all in one.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. She's like the best thing ever, but then she's like straight out of a portal from hell where she's just, I know she's going to give me a run for my money, but she's an old soul. She's wise. She's very bratty. She's also her emotional IQ is way more developed than most of my friends.
Yeah.
So she picks up on things that she shouldn't pick up on. And I just look at her like, how do you know this? And she keeps me in check even when I don't want to be in check. And I'm a free spirit, and I'm a little rebellious, and I tend to be a little reckless, but she helps my reckless side stay in check. She's the only tiny little human. The only human being that could ever do that is this tiny little child.
I get that. Yeah, for sure.
Is this tiny little child.
For sure. Well, it sounds like I said, you fit right in here with us mamas at Never Thought I'd Say This. And, I have so much admiration for the way you talk about motherhood and how special these little people are that come into our lives, and that they teach us. And I just hope that that when you're asking yourself, where did she get this? How does she know this? It's because you have shown it to her somehow along the way.
Yep.
Somewhere along the way,
They're always watching.
They are. And so when you look at your kids, I mean, I look at my kids sometimes, I'm like, where the fuck? And then I'm like, you know what? These are maybe these are things that I actually try to exemplify, or maybe they're things that they're picking up in the world, and you're doing a good job. That means you're doing a really fucking good job.
There's this quote I love that says, be the parent you always needed as a child.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes she is the parent that my inner child always needed, because she does take that role sometime. And I do learn that much from her. It's crazy. There's another thing, and I just want to throw it all out there because do it. I think being a mother is, for as beautiful as it is, and I always want to talk about how she's changed my life, and she has.
Right.
There's also the reality that I'm still a human being outside of being a mother. So when other women ask, "Do you even remember your life before her?" Well, yeah, fuck you do.
Yeah,
It's amazing. It was amazing. It was,
and I still have a
freedom.
life. And I still have a life
outside of it now.
I'm mom and more.
Right.
Yeah.
But some women, I travel a lot and I go away for
Me
like
too.
every few months. I'll take myself to like Bali.
Yeah.
And I know I'm getting judged, but I tell these people I was a person before I was a mother, and I'm no good to her unless I am that person first.
Absolutely.
Period. End of sentence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What a struggle.
Oh,
It is. Well, when you sat down, you were like, right away, you were like, well, I, don't have a lot of friends that have, kids the same way that you do. And I was like, yeah, us either. But,
I had a lot of single friends. Look, yes, I am a mom, but I'm also a whole other person outside of that.
Yeah.
And, I think we put this like burden on moms that like, unless you are the martyr for your children and like, oh, I died without them. And
Pinterest Patty, you're
right,
not
right,
good.
right.
to
You're not a
anybody.
good mom because you're not devoting your entire life to them. And it's like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck that.
you.
That's not how this works. I love being a mom. I love it. But I also love being a person outside of that and a lot of other things.
Well, that's where the whole, patriarchal Madonna and the horror complex also like comes in where, we're not supposed
you did
to
not
be-
just call Madonna a whore, but you were talking about Madonna and the whore. Right. Just to clarify,
To be
not
very
get sued.
specific.
It's
Be
a
very
psychological thing. But it's that, that so many people dictate what moms are supposed to be more often than not.
Who are these people? Do you think it's mostly women or mostly men?
I think it's men, and women have sort of fallen in
Taken
line
the
a
role
lot of the
and run
time,
with it.
and it is because, we're told when we are young, you have to be hot, you have to be sexy, you have to be this, you have to be that. And then when you're a mom, you're like, but you're not supposed to be hot, you're not supposed to be sexy, but also don't let yourself go and make sure you keep your man interested, keep that passion going, but not too much. Like you're stuck in this like fucked up way of being where you kind of never feel like you fit in, and like
Burn
you
it
said,
all down.
burn it all down.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like what you said, in the begining when you were like, I'm sort of not the soccer mom,
No,
us
hate it.
either.
You know,
She gets kicked out of soccer games, and I won't.
I used to. I've calmed down.
I know you have.
I have to plan a 6-year-old birthday party, and I keep trying to negotiate with her. Like, you don't really want to do this because I don't want to. I don't. It's not that I don't want to throw her a party. It's not in my wheelhouse.
No, you don't. We've talked. We've had a whole podcast about this.
and
We don't like birthday
No,
parties.
and they're like, the freaking bowling alley's trying to charge me $3,000 for 20 children that are not going to remember anything, whose parents are assholes.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
No.
How do you get out of that?
You don't.
No, I'm taking her to Disneyland. That's
There
it.
you go. That's it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to take you and 3 of your friends to Disneyland.
Perfect. That's what you
and we're
do.
done.
Yes,
That's
that's
exactly
what
what
you
you
do.
do.
That is
Exactly
right.
what you do.
That's right.
There's a middle ground is what you're saying.
There is a middle ground.
Negotiate with the child.
Well, don't negotiate with terrorists, but but sometimes you have to be like, look, we ain't doing this shit.
That's a good alternative. For years, I took my kids places instead. It was like, do it.
Yeah,
Smart thing to do.
Yes, and they were like all about that more than a party. I mean, for a long time.
Again, it comes like, I feel like it's just parents putting on a show.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, this is really what is going to be best for these
Right.
children. We're all going to have fun, but it's just a stressed out mother and parents that are like
Judging
looking
you.
around. And
Right.
judging.
No.
I don't want to pay for that
no,
to happen.
No. It's paying for your own like psychosis.
You also learn real fast what parents don't like you because they're the ones that give you something with glitter that you have to like put together and it makes noise. You know what I mean? And then you're like, fuck.
Now, one of the things that you do, you have a social media account for Evie called @MiniMeEvie,
Mini Me.
where
Yeah.
that's so cute.
It is so cute.
And I was scrolling through, and you chronicle not only her life, but yours as a girl mom, kind of like this digital parenting journal.
Yep.
What made you want to do that? And like, what made you decide to take that on?
Well, my family is far away, so I wanted to have something for them to kind of follow along.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's so many things in the middle of the night when I'm finally calm that I want to say, or a lesson that I've learned, or something she just taught me that I want to share with other mothers in particular, because I want to be honest and I want other women to feel what they're feeling and thinking is okay. They don't have the balls to say it, so I'll say it.
Right.
So it just became a thing. And then her looking back and seeing kind of like her journey digitally, I think is a kind of cool concept. But really, it's to have a place to say something honest.
Yeah. So you plan on eventually handing over the account to her, sort of? Or
No, absolutely not. That is mine. Everything embarrassing she ever does will be on there.
Yes, perfect.
But I find myself on the account just scrolling and looking at how far we've come, and I start to feel like, all right, maybe I know what I'm doing. Maybe. So it's nice.
That comes and goes. That feeling of parenting, I think, is never, like, you're never securely like, oh, I did. Like, you walk away from something, you're like, I did that task. That's a great thing that I did. And then you're like, oh my God, I still have no idea.
Yeah. And then you're like, and then I didn't do that, or I did that terribly. Like, it doesn't really ever stop. You just sort of get used to the ebbs and flows, I think, of it as best you can, and realize that every stage of their lives is a different stage of your life. And so you have to sort of ride that together and figure it out. And we've both talked about this a lot. And I know we both said it to our kids, like, you have a conversation at some point where you're like, I've never done this either. Like,
oh my God.
I've never done this before.
Okay.
I'm
like, please
be
gentle with me. I'm doing my best.
And that's the thing. I mean, we didn't know that about our parents. You know what I mean? Like, our parents took a stance, I think, where it was like, we just do everything, and parents do, and this is it. And, you hide things and you make it all seem perfect. And I'm not good at that. And I don't know that it helps anything anyway.
Right.
So I've had to say to my kids before, I'm going to mess this up. I did mess this up. I'm sorry. This is new for me too. I've actually never been a mom until you guys. Right. And
that's brilliant.
They're like,
that's actually brilliant. Because it's you just being honest. I told her the other day, I'm glad you said that. I go, you know how you go to school to learn? You are my school, and I'm going to mess up, and I need you to teach me. And like, when I'm in the car and I have the phone in my hand, I go, I need you to tell me, Mom, keep us safe. And if you see that I yelled at you and I shouldn't have, I need you to look at me and say, Mom, you can do better. And she does those things now.
That's great.
And so I'm teaching her that she has the power to affect change and respecting her. And I'm learning.
Yeah. I mean, parenting is like it's the biggest, I mean, both of you are teaching each other, and you're growing, like you said, you're growing sort of together. Now, does Evie go on the mini me Evie? Like, is she have screen time?
Lately, no screen time for her, but I'll show her, and she'll go take this picture and post it, which I don't know if that's a good thing.
Right.
But no, she doesn't, no screen time for her yet. I'm trying to hold off unless there's an airplane involved on screen time.
Right.
She'll do it. Like, if I have to go to the gym, I'll hand her YouTube Kids, but I try not to. No judgment on anybody that does that. I just prefer to hold out as long as humanly possible.
I would have preferred that too.
I'm trying, but I understand the appeal of the
idea. But it's also
I did as well.
Our kids are older.
Our kids are older. I feel like I waited until, Lulu is going to be 11, and she doesn't have she's got an iPad, but she does not have a phone at all, or any social media. The older one does, but because she's almost 16, but I don't know. I don't remember when it feels like a million years ago. So I don't remember when I let them use like screens at all. But like, Lulu just got her iPad last year.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we had social media when we were growing up?
No, we talked about this.
I would have not made it out alive.
Nope.
No, not at all. I look back, and I'm one of those people that I'm like, oh, thank God, back in the day we had it so easy, and I've never wanted to say back in the day. But
all I can say is I am so glad that I have a career today. That's it. I'm not
in prison at this point.
Yeah, because I'm the stupid one too. Like,
I just did stupid things. I did really stupid things that involved like drugs, alcohol, boys, like all the fun things.
Yeah. Anytime I have fucked up anything in my life with Jodie as my best friend, and I call her crying, and she's like, listen, if I can still work for like Hallmark and Lifetime, everything is going to be fucking okay. You are right. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
No, it's going to be okay. Now, single parenting, we all know, is not easy. And you seem to be touring all over. I mean, you're not on tour. You're not in a band. But
I like to think I am.
Right. But you go all over the place.
Yes.
And so how is that like, I mean, I work a lot. I have to go to Canada and, be gone for 3.5 weeks for movies and stuff. Like, what is your experience of being a single parent who also has to travel for work sometimes? Like, does Evie go with you?
No. And she'll go with me eventually, and she's gone here and there, but I'm very I need that sacred time.
Yeah, sure. Huh?
I need to focus. 2 words is the key to my survival is Nanny Poppins.
Yeah.
And I don't think we give nannies enough credit because moms don't like to do that necessarily.
Oh,
my nanny should floated down from fucking heaven.
Yeah.
With an umbrella to save us and raise me and my child. And she does it every day.
I was a nanny. So
you were?
I was.
You don't get as much credit because I don't think moms want to admit that sometimes nannies do a lot of the raising. They do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Stephanie, who is the girls, I mean, if they're so old now, they don't need a nanny, but she helps like getting them places and doing, she's just with them.
Great.
Stephanie is a lifesaver, and I try to tell her that all the time.
And I would do anything to keep my nanny, like literally sell mortgage, 2 mortgages, whatever.
This is what I need. And you need that sort of that sacred time. How does Evie deal with is she cool?
She's completely cool because I set that precedent early on.
Right.
So it's what she knows, but I'm starting to get the mom guilt more and more.
Where's that coming from?
I think it's some of it is I know that I'm being gone 7 days from your child, and let's say something happens, I can't just get right back because I'm in another country. So there's that, but also, we grew up in a place like conditioned. I'm not doing this like the other parent. Yeah. Are they judging me? So what people think is at the back of my mind. I keep it way back there.
Right.
Yeah. Way back there because I'll live my life the way I want to live it anyways. But it's fear of judgment and also just knowing like, you're leaving your kid for 7 days.
Right.
If something were to happen, there's a stranger with her.
Right.
Though not a stranger,
but still, it's just, I don't know why it's the older she gets. Like the older she gets, the more guilt I have. But the more I need the sacred time.
Right.
So I
think a lot of Good Moms, Bad Choices talks about this a lot about moms like needing that break and that time and like.
And it not being just the shower where we cry.
No. Like you need time still to be, and we talk about this all the time, to be a human being, to be an adult, to just be right. And a lot of people say, that's selfish and that's this and that. And it's like, no, you know what? I don't think parenting, it's hard. Yes, it's hard because no matter what, there's always something and someone that you love that you would drop everything for, of course. But like, parenting doesn't mean sacrificing yourself as a human being.
Right. You sacrifice enough.
You sacrifice a lot, but you're still allowed to like have a life. And I think a lot of people somehow think that if you're not like, if you set boundaries with and go like, no, this is important to me and I still have to do this. Like people are like, oh, well, that's just selfish.
Well,
like, no, that's normal. That's what it should be.
Right. They're married to the word selfish. And it's just, I don't know why we should call it self-preservation.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Sentence. Just like I need a break from people, the little ones are people too. So I just need 1 minute where nobody talks and nobody asks me to clean their butt. And I don't need to think about how much money and when the lunch and this and that. I just need to pretend that I'm young, wild, and free for 5 days, and I'll come back to you and give you more than I would have had I stayed.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. I promise you that. I make you that soul contract. You're going to get more from me now. So you want me to leave.
You have to refill.
Refuel.
Yeah, you got to refill the cup in one way or the other.
So we'll call it self-preservation.
I like that a lot. I'm a therapist, so
You are all of the things.
She's all the things.
I'm going to say this because I say it to my clients all the time. Guilt's not a real emotion. So whatever guilt is usually a mask for something else that's going on underneath.
Interesting. So I
like
what
deeper.
Give me some examples of what, because I want to dig as
fear.
Deep as possible.
It's usually fear.
Make sure you're talking right.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fear. It could be
Sabrina's going to be making inappropriate gestures.
She does that. Fear or disappointment, sadness. More often than not, it's fear. To be totally honest. It could be, but it could be anything. So I would say like, just look a little bit underneath that, because guilt's really just something that we kind of stamp on something when we don't want to deal with what the emotion is.
Breakthrough. You just gave me a breakthrough. No, I think my mom was not very mommy-like.
Okay.
Or present. She didn't know PTA, nothing like that. So I try to do that as much as I can. And whenever I leave and that guilt comes up, I don't want to be my mom. I don't want her to feel like my mom made me feel.
Got it.
Is that a breakthrough? Did I
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Are you charging for this? I feel like I owe you
money
or something.
So that's what it is. It's fear. It's fear of becoming, the part of your parenting that you didn't want to become.
Yeah.
So just know that the fact that you already know that and you recognize that in yourself means that you're not becoming that. You're already taking responsibility.
You just took it all off my shoulders. Can we talk about fathers? Like, we're single moms, right?
Yeah.
Everybody here.
Yeah.
What if I can just be so bold? How are the kids with their father? Are they present?
My girls have two different dads.
Okay.
So that's always like, it is
that must
a
be
little
fun
bit
for scheduling purposes.
Well, luckily the dads they're very present with the girls. They love their girls. They, I couldn't, to be quite honest, I could not travel and do what I need to do for work if the dads weren't as cooperative as they are. They take the girls when I have to be gone for 3 or 4 weeks and really step up. So for that, I'm really grateful. And it's, look, I've also been divorced from them for a long time. So it took a while to get us to the place where we are now, which is pretty amicable. I mean, it's, we get along for the most part. And I have it scheduled to where I have my girls at the same time and then they go to their dads at the same time. So I get a little bit of that.
I got that down.
But God, it's such a relief now to get to a place where I do get along so much better with the dads. Because, it takes a while. It does. It's hard.
And
it sucks as much as you're like,
through Mordor and hell to get there. Yeah. It's a pretty bad. What about you?
My girls go to their dad 50, so we have week on, week off. That didn't used to be the case. When I got divorced, I had them 92% of the time to start. So that was a pandemic situation. Was once the pandemic hit, I had called him and was like, I really need you to take them, 50-50 or, maybe we're not all going to come out alive. And my ex is remarried, and their stepmom is awesome. And
that's so good.
I can't honestly say enough good things about Jennifer, these days. She's like, and it was hard for the girls to get used to her, and it was hard for me to get used to her. And there was jealousy and, on my part. And
I have a stepmother. I punched her once.
I'm a stepmother too. I
knocked her lights out.
How is your relationship with Evie's dad?
Evie's dad is a grown child, but he's doing the best he can. We are toxic. Always will be, because I'm super, super positive. He's super, super negative. So just right. So if we walk in a room and we're like, I'll say, oh, look at the day. It's so pretty. And he'll be like, yeah, look at the effing fucking haze over there. So we are two different kind of people. Yeah. And when we come together, it's super toxic. So I try to limit my time with him.
Yeah.
However, he is doing the best, and I know this, and women don't recognize it enough sometimes. He is doing the best he can for the tools that he has.
Yes. But that's the thing is, we talk about it all the time at like, oh, we want men to step up and we want this, but
they can't just do that. They don't know how to do that.
As a society, we haven't given them a lot of the tools to do that. So while we don't want to have to raise men,
correct.
We need to be able to direct them.
Attacked by that comment?
Well, but we need to be able. Girl, please.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be able to direct them, and men have to be willing to look at, what are the tools that I should be learning in order to have better relationships, because I probably haven't been taught them because I'm a dude, and we don't teach dudes how to have relationships and be parents and step up for things. No. And I think we're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
And as sad as it is to say, they also need, we tell them to step up, but like mine in particular needs encouragement. Like he's like a puppy. I literally have to go, good job, and throw him a treat for him to be like, oh.
Well, everybody likes that. Everybody likes that. Everybody likes to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
For what they do, just like, we want acknowledgement for being moms. Like, we got to sometimes. And here's the thing.
Sometimes you have to meet them kind of halfway, where just telling them their shit over and over isn't necessarily going to do the best job for
That's definitely not going to,
that's definitely not going to fly. They don't
as good as it feels sometimes to really just unleash on someone.
It feels so
good. That's when you call your best friend.
Yeah, but we can do this as opposed to being like the typical, you're such a piece of shit. That's not going to get us.
Well, Celia and I have had this conversation many times, and I just go, if you stop hitting the tennis ball back, no one's playing tennis.
No one's playing tennis.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
And I'm like, two people can have an argument, but one person yelling is just crazy.
Right.
So like, if you don't participate in the argument, it stops.
It does stop.
I want to
It took me a long time to get to that place, I think. And now, my ex and I are
there
pretty
all the
amicable.
time. I'm not there all the time. Like, it depends on the day, but I'm trying to be there more often than not.
The older she gets, also, the easier it gets, in a way, because you have more space. And you're going to watch as she figures out her stuff on her own, and she has her own relationship with each of you, and it won't feel as toxic for you anymore, because you're seeing that she's still thriving.
He's always going to have the same face, and that's really hard for me to deal with. And that's the truth.
I think we're all around, right? We're like, ooh,
that's triggered by his face. So, that's a problem, but I'm trying because she loves him so much.
That's the important.
And how old is she? 6?
She's 6 going on 18, honestly.
Okay, right. Let me tell you, like, if you would have asked me where I was in relationship with my kids' dads when they were like 6 years old and where we are now, world's different.
Same.
Like it does mellow out.
Mm-hmm.
So it will change and it will get a little better.
I started, there's a person that I'm seeing, and introducing him into the mix has been an interesting, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So I introduced them for like 10 minutes and then I was like, now you got to go. I told him, well, now you got to go. But having her realize that it won't be her daddy.
Right.
Is a very interesting thing to navigate. Taking any therapy that you're with. So that's where we are right now. But she seems to know that mommy is happy, and watching her acknowledge that's the
most important.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Important.
Listen, there's something to be said to, and then I'll go back to sort of Jennifer, the kid's stepmom. It's that, the more people that are on your kid's side, the better. Yeah. And that's all she needs to know.
So as long as they're healthy and good influences.
Right. And they're good influences. And he doesn't need to ever be dad. That's not the thing. But he can be somebody in her life that, influences her in a positive way and is there for her and can give her things that maybe she's not going to get, learn through her dad. My stepfather, I know I've talked about him before. My stepfather was a huge part of my life, and he didn't even come into my life until I was 14 or 15 years old. And he brought something to our family that, although we have a dad, he was
there's just something different. A little bit different,
and an advocate, and that's important.
Being a single mom, also, I realized it. They say it takes a village. I have the most wonderful,
really does.
Ridiculous. Like, my village is all tattooed and they curse and they're very inappropriate.
Oh, that's our village.
They're so inappropriate.
Yeah.
One of her main babysitters, who's sitting across from me right now, is just inappropriate every day. But
I said this in the last show, that Sabrina is the most responsible yet terrifying person I know.
Responsible and terrifying, and she won't mess around with my kid. If my kid's being a brat, she'll be like, listen, if you don't stop being an asshole, you're not going to get the water, and you will either dehydrate or starve. I don't care. But
it's your choice.
Now, have you you said you don't take her on tour with you and stuff, but has she gotten to experience mommy in her world and her cool stuff?
Yeah. She's had more backstage passes in her little life than most adults will ever have, and she loves it. And she wears her little leather jacket.
Oh my God!
Love.
And I instilled a love of music in her very young, because I know that when they grow up, they're gonna have certain memories that they hold on to, and I always want her. I picture her older, driving a car, being like, "This is me and my mom used to sing this song."
Right.
And her knowledge of music is, it's amazing, and it makes me so proud. So I've taken her to all of the concerts because I want her to do math and tire shoes and all that important stuff. But I want her to know where to go to access source and happiness. Yeah. And community and goosebumps. I want her to know where to go for goosebumps.
And that's music.
By the way, I 100% heard that as I want her to do meth and type.
Let me tell you.
We are the Hot Mess Express.
She'll be tying your shoes, her shoes, everybody's shoes will be tied.
Next grade.
Right. Yeah.
So you want her to be Jesse Pinkman?
No. She's going to start her own shoe tying business. No one's ever going to have to tie shoes again.
Right. Just wanted to clarify. She said math and not math.
No, but I take her to concerts, but I also take her to late at night. If there's a meteor shower, I'll wake her up at 2 a.m. and throw a hoodie on and take her to see.
That's cool. Yeah. The fun,
that's inappropriate things on on a school night.
Well, but you got, I mean, look, that's sometimes you got to do those things.
Those are memories, but
Those are
also
memories.
source. To
Right.
me, it's like, go there
Go
and
find the
live.
magic.
Like, go find the magic. And magic is important. And so I put magic at the forefront of everything. Her room, she has Eddie Vedder wallpaper, but she has a lamp
Yes.
that the only way to turn it on is saying, Alexa, turn on magic.
Yeah.
I can't get it to do Expecto Patronum, which is a Harry Potter thing.
Right.
Oh, wait. Shut up, Alexa.
Every fucking
Now turn on lights over here. Okay, yeah.
Tell her Alexis in the house. But yeah, magic is, I think, at the forefront of my parenting is magic.
I love that.
So do
I love that. And, you know, in addition to being a single mom and working full time, you are involved in the community. And during the pandemic, you worked with the Suitcase Joe Foundation, and you're also raising funds for Afghani refugees.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you also involve Evie in this magic. I love that.
Yeah.
My kids are same thing. I love involving them in service work.
Well, here we live in LA, and if you drive anywhere in LA, it's hard to miss the encampments.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at our doorstep. So I want her to understand what homeless people are.
Uh-huh.
I want her to understand compassion, but also there's a little danger there.
Right.
So during the pandemic, we would do water drops, and I would bring her with me safely in the back seat. We would go to the encampments. I would let her see what it's like to help other people and explain why. And then I'm just really attached to the homeless community here because too often people say, they're on drugs, they're crazy. Well, they weren't born that way.
Right. There's a person.
That's somebody's child.
What's a person inherently worth something?
Yeah.
And like you have like
Some people don't see it that way though.
I know. I always make sure to I try and do something, it's
Even if it's like one thing you do, like just look at them with compassion. Don't give them your money. Look at them with compassion and just try and
say hi.
Say look at them in the
try
eye.
to drop the judgment. I find that's the biggest thing. I actually got into it recently with somebody about that because, he passed somebody and they were holding up a sign that said
I thought you were going to say he passed a kidney stone. I don't know why that's from my brain, but yeah.
Well, it was after doing
here's the
that was after doing a lot of
Well, you heard
Right.
math when I said math.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's really fucking your kids.
Well, no, he said, so he passed somebody that was holding something that said, they had graduated with some degree from Stanford. I can't remember what it was. And, and he wrote me and he was like, he's like, I'm having a hard time, feeling compassion about that or something. And I wrote back, why? Like, why wouldn't you feel compassion about that? And it was like, well, if you've got that degree, then you should be doing, X, Y, Z. I was like, but you don't know that person's story. You don't know what made them, how they ended up homeless. You don't know.
They ended up homeless because they've got $200,000.
That's what I said. I said it could be
student going to fucking Stanford, and now they don't have a place to live.
Right, and now they don't have a place to live, and there's there's mental health stuff, or there's substance abuse. But the fact is, our system's very fucking broken, and you can't. I hate when people just look at other human beings and they don't see their story.
Right.
They pass judgment.
I love that you involve Evie in that kind of stuff because that's something that Celia and I do a lot too. I've taken my girls to a lot of protests and done a lot of, I've involved them in Girls Inc. stuff and all of that. It's so important to teach our young people to be of service.
Well, that and she complains if I don't get her an extra LOL doll, and I'm like,
right, you're like, no,
here,
right.
honey.
Right. We
And
need to
then
have a
we'll
talk.
drive. I'm like, that person doesn't have a bathroom. That person doesn't have a house. So you can, and the LOL. Don't even get me started on that franchise.
Oh god.
Yeah.
We went through Bratz.
You went through Bratz.
Yes.
LOL is really,
LOL.
it's like crack for kids. It's really bad in the way they package.
Oh my god, the packaging alone is what's killing the environment.
We shouldn't
and Monster
go
High,
down
that
that
was
lane.
the other one. I don't. They all look like hookers. I don't know. I don't
they
know
are
what
expressing
They
themselves.
sure do.
They are expressing themselves
Okay.
Do you
in a
disagree on this?
feminist way.
Do you think so? Okay, can I tell you about one
Girl,
LOL doll?
I'm
One
trying to be
LOL
positive.
doll, when you dip her in hot water naked, she all of a sudden has lingerie on. And it's like fishnets and S&M wear.
We talked about
That's what you do. That's what I do with you. You guys, that doesn't happen to you when you get in water?
Same.
Fuck.
Okay.
Okay, well that made it
It's like a
really
reverse
weird.
gremlin.
Yeah, I suddenly break out in Fenty. So now I don't even know what
I
I'm
don't
going to say.
either.
I got distracted.
We're fine. Fuck it.
You're welcome. Hot Mess Express.
I have to say, I'll
it's
take
the laundry.
it from
I
you.
got distracted.
I have to say, it's really refreshing to be able to sit with women that are just like you guys and be able to talk about this and not feel like at my daughter's schoolyard, the women, no judgment, like the Gucci belt women and the, the ones that are all put together. I don't feel like I can even
I'm rolling in
say that I had a
3
bad
days
day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's such a presentation. So it's so helpful and refreshing to have women that are just willing to like throw it down and be like, listen, bitches.
Oh, look, I have to tell you,
not easy.
Yesterday I'm at my older daughter's like parent night, whatever. It was like the fundraiser auction, the baskets, all that shit. She's got this teacher at her school who actually teaches TK, but my daughter started this program with the principal where the older kids, the 8th graders, go in and help the younger ones and all. It was great. But this teacher, I fucking love. I'm not going to say her name because she
doesn't want to be associated.
Well,
with
I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this story yet,
okay,
so I don't know that I want to involve her.
That's very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
But whatever. I'll say her name is Miss Graham. But she, I can always look it out later. No, but she it's like she walked over as I saw her. I went to the thing by myself, right? Because I was like, I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna fucking just walk around the baskets. I'm gonna get an hors d'oeuvre. I'm gonna get the fuck out.
And then Houdini out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I donate my thing. I donate a bunch to raffle tickets.
You left my house the other day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I get there and like I'm standing there eating risotto in a corner, and she comes up. She's like, "Oh my god, hi!" We start talking. She's like, "Are you here by yourself?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" She starts laughing. I was like, "I don't want to be around these people. Like, what the fuck?" I'm like. And that is how I enter a conversation at my kids' schools. And parents are like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like,
I don't want to be here. So it's not just me.
And but I have like that really eliminates people. And anyway, at this event, I said something, and one of the other teachers was standing there, and some other parent came up. I don't know, and I said something. I was like, "Well, fuck that!" And she just started laughing because my kids go to like a religious school. Like, I am not.
I am not my kid's school. Yeah,
I'm not that. And so anyway, it's really funny because I've just learned like, I just sort of take me wherever I go now. And I find my people.
Yeah. They find you.
They find
somebody in that room.
Someone walks away and goes, "Oh,
those are your people."
Let's all remember that there was and by all I mean Never Nation and you, but I'll tell you this: there was a parent-teacher conference that I almost completely forgot about, and then realized as I walked out of yoga and the alert went on my phone that I was going to not only be 5 minutes late, but there was no way that I could get home and change, and I had to go to said teacher conference with my ex-husband there in weed leggings. That's right. All over my fucking that's what it was.
Wait.
Bright green fucking weed flowers.
Wait, I'm gonna ask like a question that somebody else might be like, why didn't you just not go to the conference?
Because are you kidding? Like that's even worse.
I would go worse.
I had to make the call. Like I was like, do I just not show up? No, it's pre-pandemic. I was like, do I just not show up? And then the ex-husband's like, wow, well, she just didn't, show up.
And that's
the
weed leggings.
Or do I show up, with the weed leggings and the, with
you shut up. May I?
That is what I did. And I was just kind of, and as we walked out, and he didn't say a thing to me about them, and he went in front of me, I just turned to the teacher and I pointed at my leggings and I was like, "How you like those?" And she just started fucking laughing. She was like, I just could. She's like, I'm glad you came. And I was like, great, bye. Like,
there's something so refreshing about that, though. About just be the truth. Like just own your shit. Be the truth. Show up as you are. It is what it is.
My kids, friends, parents know that that's the deal. You know what I mean? Like this is just what we're getting. And I like we'll talk stuff like that to them, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank you." I'm like, "Yeah, no, we're not here for this pretense bullshit."
No.
Yeah.
I am grateful for other moms like us, and I am so grateful, Nicole, that you came and did the show today. It's been
awesome.
so much fun meeting you. You fit
Seriously.
right in. Welcome to the Never Nation. You're in now.
Thank you.
Now you're never
we're
gonna
all
lose
crazy.
us.
I don't want to lose you.
But since you are here today, let's have you pick. This is our game that we play, which is Grateful AF.
That stands for as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
So go ahead and pick. There's some of them are really wacky.
Okay.
So go for it.
What is it? How do I do this?
That's what you were.
Chrysalises?
I'm
grateful.
Now flip it over.
Flip it over. There you go.
Not all butterflies come from cocoons. Some of them start off as caterpillars who can't stop chowing down on weeds and getting so fat and lazy that they end up hanging themselves from their butts.
That's what I did there.
Puffing out their skin and hardening themselves in a shell called a chrysalis. Then, inside the shell, their whole bodies turn into soup. Yeah, they completely liquefy. Then they transform into fucking butterflies. Doesn't this give you hope? Maybe you're not fucked up. Maybe you're just butterfly soup.
I
am butterfly soup.
I am definitely butterfly soup today.
Oh my God.
All right, Celia, you pick. Okay, you pick.
This is awesome.
Okay.
I'm so glad.
But honest to God, this is perfect. Farts.
Lord.
Even if you are so adult you don't think that they're funny anymore, just think about what would happen to your body if you couldn't let out that gas. Kaboom! Thank you, farts. You're saving our lives on the daily. You know, I don't know that my cat thanks my farts. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Not after
My
you eat ice
cat
cream.
is like, fuck
I'm
you.
really glad I didn't get this one. Can I tell you girls a fun fact about me really quick?
Yeah.
I don't say this word. I will spell it every time. I'll never say it out loud.
Oh my God, you're like us.
F-A-R-T.
Not me. I'll tell
I mean,
you.
we're talking about it on the podcast right now, but
Yeah.
the whole thing. We'll go into it later.
Yeah.
Away from
Another time.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. What is? Ooh, actually, I actually do like this. Grateful as fuck for impermanence. Right?
Yeah.
Impermanence is awesome because it means the bad shit won't last. It sucks because the good shit won't last either. But hey, we're being positive here. Does today suck? Well, it sure as fuck won't suck for a long time in the grand scheme of things. Until then, to quote a 1970s poster kitten, hang in there, baby.
Yes. I get to be butterfly soup. This is like really
you
made
get
my
to be
whole
butterfly
day.
soup
Yeah.
and fart away in your little chrysalis.
Yeah.
And
Nothing lasts.
And nothing
Yeah,
lasts.
nothing lasts.
Nothing lasts.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, well, you know what?
Yeah.
I feel better now.
I do too.
Thanks,
you.
guys.
It's a good therapy. I got free
Aw.
therapy over here.
Yeah.
Free therapy. Nicole,
Yeah.
where can people find you? Check out you and your little mini Evie. Where can they find you on the internet?
The internet, Instagram is the easiest place. I'm Nick Alvarez, NICALVAREZ. So Nick with no K. And then Evie's just at Mini Me Evie.
Okay, great. And if you want to check out our podcast, you can find at Never Thought I'd Say This on Instagram. And we also have a YouTube channel where a week after this comes out on wherever your podcasts are, the visual episode will be up on our YouTube. So you can watch us be stupid if you really need to. Anyway, at Never Thought I'd Say This, I'm at Jodie Sweeten across all socials.
I am at the Celia Behar across one social.
Just across all socials. Then just
say that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all of the socials that you do, which is one.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, keep killing the parenting game.
And not your kids.
Or your chrysalises.
Or your farts.
Or your butterfly soup.